A very warm welcome to everyone. This is Navneet Upadhyay. Today we will discuss the Westphalian system. Actually, if we talk about the study lecture, that was about the emerging of the states in the European continent, and actually we focused on the European continents because of their real development, first development in relation to the international relations and international diplomacy. Today we will discuss the Westphalian system. It is very much important to let you know that what is the actually Westphalian, what is actually this term is. Actually this is related to a treaty. The name was that particular treaty was a Westphalian Treaty, and this term actually came out from that particular treaty that was signed in 1648. And if we step forward by our lecture was that the European states emerged in the midst of struggle and strife, and strife have continued to characterize their existence. Actually, states were getting independence, and one by one, and that lead to their real power and administrative power, and they actually this independence caused the conflicts between them, and they fought each other, and they attack each other, and actually they looted each other. That's why the war is actually happened very long, triggered very long. The 30 years war, 1618 to 1648, was the bloodiest and most protected military confrontation of the era. As the result of the war, Germany's population was reduced by around a third. Now you can realize that particular phenomena is that continue 30 years war, that is caused the reduce of the population of Germany 1/3. It is a big thing in reference to a state or a country. Sorry. Okay, if we step forward, is that the Scottish missionaries did not steal that particular thing. What the Swiss and the Scottish missionaries did not steal, the Swedish troops destroyed. Many people died in the plague. Actually, the independence period, a lot of states has got independence, and they starts administered them and got independence from the Pope, Holy Church, the Holy Roman Empire, and that lead to administrative controls of the state itself. And a particular state was independent, for an example, and at the neighbor state was also get independence, and due to their sovereignty and due to their misunderstanding, due to their fear of war, due to their military standing, due to their military preparation, the states got fear about their neighbors, and actually they get in aggression, and they fought a war, and the situation was not very good after independence itself. And if we take forward, the war was religious conflict since Catholic state confronted Protestants. It is obvious, because if you have the kursi of political, if you have the authority of political rights, and you don't want to be lost that power. Same thing in the reference of Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Empire. They have the strong authority, they have the power, and when the states are started to independent, actually they use their powers to prevent them from self-government and sovereignty, and that lead to a very large-scale war, as we discussed, the 30 years war from 1618 to 1648, the bloodiest war and most protected military confrontation of that era. The war was religious conflict since Catholic states controlled Protestants. They sometimes fought them from same side as religious dogma, and clearly not the first thing on the mind. All right, actually here the writer wants to tell us that sometimes the Protestant and the Catholic Church were fought from same side, and this shows that they are the religious dogma is not the first thing in that in their minds. Actually, the war was the concern of dominance in the Middle Age. Actually, they fought each other is to find out who is the most powerful and who is the most dominant player for this particular reason. Main protagonists were two Catholic states. Protagonist, this particular word is meaning of this particular word is the lead role, a lead actor of an drama, of an picture, of an movie. Actually, this concern with the central character of that particular drama, movie, and etc. Main protagonists were two Catholic states, France and Austria. It means France and Austria was the main players of that particular area. But Sweden, a Protestant country, intervened on France's side, and in the end of dominant power emerged. Alright, the main player was France and Austria, but Sweden, a Protestant country, intervened on France's side. That's why in the end no dominant power emerged. No anyone has much power to control the entire area or entire states. The Treaty of Westphalia. Now we came here, the Treaty of Westphalia 1648, which concluded 30 years of warfare, has come to symbolize the new way of organizing international politics. In international relations, in the study of international relations and international politics, this is very important treaty and very important development in the reference of international relations, because the Treaty of Westphalia is end the 30 years warfare and has come to symbolize the new way of organizing international politics. Actually, this treaty has signed in 1648 and organized the states in a proper manner and prevent the war sometimes, and not most of the wars was fought after this treaty was signed, but this treaty was organized and it start, actually you can say, the beginning of the international relations and international politics. International politics was relations between state, no other political units. All right, the particular term international politics is related to international relations between states, no other political units. Everyone is same, has same right and sovereignty. State interacted with each other in a system in which there was no overacting powers. Actually, this treaty has started a trend that every state, no one is better than someone, no one is exterior, no one is inferior, superior, or everyone is same, and everyone has the right to self-governing, and everyone has the right to sovereignty, and no one is going to hurt the sovereignty of another. And state interacted with each other in a system in which there was no overacting powers. All right, this led to the problem of anarchy, breaking out of law and order. Actually, this treaty has informed well, sorry, not informed but reformed. This treaty was reformed well in the relation between states, but also the led to the problem of anarchy. An anarchical world is the world where everyone looks after themselves and no one looks after the system as a whole. Anarchical world, it means everyone is look for themselves and no one is concerning about another, whether it is their neighbor, whether it is another states who is going to prepare for the war next time. And our states had an incentive to engage in aggressive wars. As a result, the new international system was characterized by constant tension and threats of war, which often enough turned into actual cases of warfare. Now you can understand the situation of European states at that time when they got independence and they fought each other, and actually they wants to become dominant player of that particular area, and no one is actually that particular power to dominate that particular area, and everyone is fought wars between them. At the same time, various practices developed which helped regulate common affairs. All right, and when anarchy was at its peak and everything is in the hodgepodge condition, that's why the practices of diplomacy started. Treaties were negotiated. These states had made themselves independent, both of the Pope and the Emperor. By soon discovered that their relation has become vastly more complicated. After become independent, their relations was become more complicated. In order to avoid misunderstanding and unnecessary conflicts, the different rulers began dispatching ambassadors to each other's court. And actually, this starts of the international diplomacy, international politics, international relations. And the kings of the states or administration of the states or government of the states started deploying the ambassadors to the another country's court. The diplomatic network provided a means of gathering information, of spying, but also a way to keep in touch. And this is very important actually, because if you are not prepared for the worst, you are going to be very, you are going to face the trouble, huge trouble. And that's why the diplomacy and international relations and deploying the ambassadors and sending the ambassadors to other country and information of spying and information of intelligence is very important. Practices of diplomacy expanded. Embassies were given extraterritorial rights and immunity. And actually this was the need of the hour, and that's why the international relations and international politics were developed at that time. By the middle of the 17th century, the protagonist. The system included France, Spain, Austria, England, Russia, Poland, Denmark, Sweden, and Ottoman Empire. Actually, these practices were, started expanding in the France, Spain, Austria, England, Russia, Poland, Denmark, Sweden, and the Ottoman Empire. And actually, this was the founding stone. This was actually beginning of the international relations. Diplomatic practices never powerful enough to prevent wars, provide a sense of common identity. But at that time, diplomatic practices was not much powerful to prevent wars, but provide the sense of common identity, provide Europeans a sense of common identity. A European state was more than anything a state that participated in a system of shared diplomatic practices. Well, here we learn a lot, and if I conclude everything, is that in spite of being independent from popes and Holy Roman Empire, the state its struggles by each others and fought wars, and then the war was lasted 30 years. After that, Westphalia Treaty 1648 was signed, and that ended the war, but not give the solution of the problem. And after that, the need of the war, the need of the hour is to establish the diplomatic relations and started the international politics, and that is started and expanded to France, Spain, Australia, England, Russia, Poland, Denmark, Sweden, and the Ottoman Empire. And at that time, obviously, it is the starting of international relations and diplomatic establishment, and that was not much powerful to prevent the wars, but give the common identity. Then it was the today's lecture. In tomorrow's lecture, we will learn an international system, and this is going to be a very special topic and very interesting topic. And for now, I'm signing off. Thank you.